Hey travelers, just a quick heads up before we dive in. This list is focused on teams where Escoffier really shines. Her kit is fully optimized when you're only running Cryo and Hydro characters. That setup lets her shred up to 55% of the enemy's elemental resistance, which is huge. Also, Furina is basically her BFF in every team comp. They just work way too well together, so you'll be seeing both Escoffier and Furina in all of these team lineups I'm about to show you. Alright, let's jump into it. I'm starting with the last 3 of the top 5 teams, not because they're weak, but because they're only just becoming viable now that Escoffier is finally in the game. Let's start with Ayato. I've had this guy sitting on the bench for a while now. He just hasn't had much time to shine in Abyss, especially with all the newer, stronger characters out there. But now, with Escoffier in the mix, it's his comeback moment. I actually prefer Ayato over Childe here. Childe's great, but he really pops off in vape teams thanks to that massive burst multiplier. For this team, you want consistent Hydro output, and that's where Ayato shines. On this team, you will have Ayato, Escoffier, Furina, and Citlali. Here's the synergy. Escoffier shreds Hydro and Cryo resistance, while Furina buffs your whole squad. And with Citlali, she boosts Hydro even more. This setup makes Ayato feel like a true hypercarry again, probably the best freeze team for him to date. Okay, this next one might sound like copium, but hear me out. It's basically the same template as the Ayato team, just swap Ayato with Yelan. This setup destroys in single target fights, especially bosses, and since Escoffier shreds without needing a freeze proc, you're not forced to rely on freezing enemies. I ran this in Abyss recently, and it's honestly a blast. Yelan gets to flex her big numbers with more consistency than usual. Coming in at number 3 is probably the most debated team on this list, the Neuvillette Hypercarry team. A lot of people are skeptical about this comp because, let's be real, Neuvillette's passive wants 4 different elements to fully pop off. So building a team that's only Cryo and Hydro sounds a bit questionable as it is counterintuitive. But after tons of testing, I can confidently say Neuvillette still hits just as hard, or even harder, with Escoffier instead of Citlali. Here's how it breaks down. With Citlali, the usual team would be Neuvillette, Furina, Citlali, and a flex slot like Zilonin, Kazuha, or Jin for VV shred and healing support. But with Escoffier, you can run Neuvillette with Furina, especially if he's C1, Escoffier, and Zilonin. At first glance, it feels wrong, dropping the 4-element setup and leaning into Cryo-Hydro only. But in practice, Neuvillette still gets 3 unique reactions, which is enough for solid passive uptime. On top of that, Escoffier applies Cryo more consistently than Citlali, and it has longer duration and very easy to set up. Overall, Neuvillette's damage output is smoother and more sustained. So yeah, while it might not look optimal on paper, in the Spiral Abyss, this team actually slaps. Yup, it's time to talk about our Cryo Duke. While Wriothesley is usually seen in melt comps, he actually pops off in a freeze team with Escoffier. With the right supports, he becomes a monster. In this team comp, you have Wriothesley, Escoffier, Furina, and Shenhe. I like to call this team the Duke's Chilling Harem. He's getting all the support he needs from the top Cryo and Hydro ladies. Shenhe buffs Cryo, Furina boosts total team damage, and Escoffier handles resistance shredding. It's smooth, satisfying, and most importantly, super fun. Finally, taking the top spot, it's Ayaka's turn to rule again. She's back, and with Escoffier now in the game, she's stronger than ever. In this team comp, you'll have Ayaka, Escoffier, Furina, and Shenhe. This is the ultimate Cryo freeze team right now, at least until Skirk shows up and maybe shakes things up. Here's why it's so good. Ayaka will not have any crit issues due to the Cryo resonance. No energy problems as there are 3 Cryo units, so there's lots of particles, and Escoffier gives Ayaka a massive damage boost. It's clean, it's powerful, and honestly, it just feels good to play. So those are my top 5 Escoffier teams right now. Let me know in the comments, who's your favorite? Are there any other underrated team comps you've tried since she dropped? And hey, if you found this helpful, don't forget to like, sub, and ring that bell for more Genshin team breakdowns. Catch you in the next one!
A little move boost! Can it go back? Strike a pose! Cryo Incarnate! Unleash! Embrace! Off to the freezer! Divine. Unleash. Whirling Snow.